everyone! Today I want to share with you the results of a little gouache experiment that I performed a few weeks ago. We're going to be comparing three mediums that you may be compelled to add to your gouache in order to change its performance. If you haven't seen my gouache palette video that I made some time ago, I'm going to leave the link in the bio as well. In that video, I showed you how to mix your gouache tubes and create your own custom palette. I think that having a palette with the colors I want to use readily mixed is so much easier, especially since mixing exact gouache colors can be very difficult. So the questions that I want to answer are the following. Do you really need to add an additive to gouache? Is honey the best additive there is? Is there an alternative to honey? What happens if you don't add anything at all? So if you're interested in that, let's begin. So let me give you a little introduction to these mediums. Honey is considered the drink of the gods. Make sure the beekeepers are ethical and that you are using raw organic honey. Arabic gum is basically a binder sourced from a tree. It can help watercolor to become glossier and spread slower. And the core medium that we are going to be using can increase the transparency and flow of watercolors as well as add gloss and saturation. Okay, so let's do this. The color I'm going to be using for this experiment is the Holbein Artist Gouache in primary magenta. And the first thing I'm going to show you is a swatch straight from the tube without mixing it up with, I'm not gonna use honey or anything. I'm going to use a little bit of water. And there we go. That's literally just straight from the tube, nothing added. And now I'm going to do one with the honey, the one we mixed with honey here. That's the one I'm going to swatch now. And right off the bat, it does feel like jelly, like the consistency feels like gel. Wow, you guys are seeing this? Look, that's an amazing swatch. It's really bright. Feels like more opaque, even more bright, more vibrant, and it does have like that jelly consistency. But look at that, oh my god. Well, don't know you guys, but I really love how that swatched. Let's swatch the gouache with the gum arabic. So what I'm seeing here, it's spreading less on the paper. Okay, so now I'm going to mix in the core watercolor medium. A little bit of the magenta straight from the tube. This is actually made for watercolor, obviously, and this is supposed to increase the gloss. I'm going to add 2 drops of this. I'm going to mix that up. Nice. Okay, so the consistency feels really nice. I really like this. In the palette, it does look shiny. It does feel similar to the honey in that sense. Okay, so I'm going to label these. Okay, so the first one is basically, second one has honey, gum, Arabic Watercolor Medium. So obviously the first one is dry already. The second one with the honey is dry as well. The gum arabic is still a tad bit humid, and the last one, it's actually dry. This is how they look up close, straight from the tube, with the honey mixed in the palette, with gum arabic, and with the core watercolor medium. Obviously the honey one looks so saturated or opaque and bright and beautiful. I am in love with the gum arabic. I feel like it went less flowy, like it had some sort of glue. It kind of looks like straight from the tube, but less opaque in that sense. And obviously there's an additive going on, so obviously the whole pigment is going to be lowered in that sense. With the watercolor medium, which is almost dry, it's completely dry except for this area, I quite like it. And I think this could actually be like, if you do not want to use honey to mix your own palette, I think you could actually use the watercolor medium. As you can see straight from the tube, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful magenta, but look at the power inside this color. And I think at the end of the day, it all depends on what you want to do with your gouache, if you want it to be more opaque or not. With the gum arabic, obviously there's less flow in the paint, and it's definitely the least pigmented of them all, because obviously we're adding an additive to the gouache. With the watercolor medium from Core, I think this is actually the closest to the honey results. If you are vegan or don't have, organic honey near your house, well, I think you can actually go with the watercolor medium and get a very similar effect. And with the fresh honey, honestly, I can still see the magic going on, but definitely the one that has been mixed properly with the palette knives and whatnot, it does have a better consistency overall. So obviously, these two were not mixed professionally, to say the least, but now we can actually compare these three results. And the honey one is still the brightest, the most opaque, the most saturated, dare I say the most beautiful of the four. So I'm going to show you this with a bit of flash. Let's see if there's a difference. So if you're going to mix your own custom palette, now you have a few ideas to use as mixing mediums. If you actually just drop the paint straight from the tube, it's going to get cracked very soon, and it's going to be kind of actually harder to mix when you are painting. Obviously that doesn't mean that you cannot use it. It works very fine. Actually, if I had like some dry magenta, I could actually show you how it looks, but since I do not have magenta, I think I'm going to swatch for you, I don't know, like opera pink. So this is the opera pink, already dry. This is obviously the one that's taking the longest to build up. Okay, so let's discuss the amazing results that we got by mixing the primary magenta for gouache and the opera pink, which for reference, I'm actually going to swatch the same color straight from the tube as well. So I think overall, the watercolor medium from Core can definitely deliver more flow, similar to the flow that a honey can give us naturally. So if you're looking for something to add to your gouache palette because you want to maintain, that flow, that vibrancy, that magic that the gouache can actually give you, you could use the core medium definitely, or using it straight from the tube is a nice way to go as well. So the winners in this experiment are actually organic honey and the core watercolor medium, but I'm very excited. I did not expect honey to be such an amazing agent. Again, I'm very impressed by the core watercolor medium. I know that when I use it with watercolor, it's an amazing tool. So if you paint with watercolor as well, this is definitely a handy medium to have in your studio. And Gum Arabic, you know, I will be using it for watercolors only whenever I create new colors, but for gouache, no need. And obviously you can use gouache straight from the tube. Once again, if you are interested in making a palette, you can definitely watch my video, which I'm linking below. Having a palette like this makes painting so much easier. I hope you actually learned something. And my final thoughts about all this process that you've seen right now. Honey definitely makes the colors more vibrant and opaque, more than any of the other mediums that we use. The drying time with honey is longer than without any medium, or with the mediums that we also showcased. The best results actually depend on your preference. How do you want the paint to look like in your painting? For me, honey is the winner, especially when I use it straight off the palette. If you are a watercolorist, I definitely do suggest that you add the core medium to your studio essentials, because it does give you more options, and we all love having options. So if you liked this video and found it very interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more. I will see you on the next video. So until then, take care and